inspire someone who might be feeling overwhelmed, burned out, or stagnant in their work, their creativity, their productivity, or in whatever field they're trying to accomplish something, be it great or small. So I thought we could put together a little inspirational note and a few objects to send to a friend to cheer them up, to inspire them, to encourage them. So I'll be using this dip pen, sepia calligraphic ink, and some very special Italian cotton pulp paper. Along with a few other implements to make this little message special. So first, let's pour a cup of tea. I have a saucer here. It has a peacock and what looks to be maybe a starling or blackbird. Of course, the colors are stylized pink and teal and yellow and sky blue and violet. And we have lots of flowers on this little saucer as well. I have some larger ones, large pink ones that are probably roses or chrysanthemum. I have some smaller violet sweet pea and blue over here. Looks like perhaps maybe mimosa or magnolia. And then here we have some leaves gorgeous geisha. Can you see it? It's a bit dark. It's a green tea, and it's beautiful flowery scent. There are a few blossoms in it as well. So I'll be using this tea to make a pot. There's our cup. And there's the pot of brewed tea. You can see the leaves have opened up. There's our beautiful, gorgeous geisha green tea. I'll set it over there, just there. I'm going to start by reading an excerpt from T.H. White's Once and Future King, because it's one of the excerpts from literature and poetry that always inspires me when I'm having a difficult time, and I think this would be something nice to put in our letter to help someone. So T.H. White wrote this book, not this book. T.H. White's book is titled The Once and Future King, and it is about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I brought out this book because it has some pretty picture there that you can look at while I read an excerpt. In this picture, and you must remember that King Arthur's stories are mainly anachronistic and have been since probably the 11th century, when they began to be disseminated more widely. You can see the knights in full armor with beautiful feathers and helmets, horses that are decorated and also wearing armor on their heads. The one back there. And they're jousting. It's a very violent sport. Shakespeare, different coats of arms. That's Richard Lionheart's lion, and of course the French fleur-de-lis, so this standard is quite anachronistic, but doesn't matter because it's very pretty. The castle there, with the rampart for the archers, and the trees in the background, more fortification castle, people watching under the tent, garlands, laurels, and just on the binding, a trumpeter. T.H. White's book is about Arthur himself before he became king, his education as a squire until he pulled the sword from the stone and was declared king, and all of the challenges he faced in that position. On the surface, it is a rather fun and jolly romp full of humor, especially as Merlin educates the young Arthur called Wart by magically turning him into different animals. It is also a very personal, introspective, and philosophical book about how people learn about human interaction, human fallacy, human nature, and how a king is applying that to his ideal of what a kingdom should be, and how to rule and manage people. So it is at once fun and poignant, and can be taken on many levels. The excerpt I'm going to read for you today is one from which we'll take a piece and put it on paper for inspiration. This occurs after Arthur, or the Wart, is sad because he's done a lot of preparation and he did not receive his expected position as case squire. And he comes to Merlin, and Merlin replies, "The best thing for being sad," replied Merlin, "is to learn something. That is the only thing that never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake at night, listening to the disorder of your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics, or know your honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There is only one thing for it then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting. Learning is the thing for you. Look at what a lot of things there are to learn. science, the only purity there is. You can learn astronomy in a lifetime, natural history in 3, literature in 6, and then, after you have exhausted a myriad lifetimes in biology and medicine, and theocriticism, and geography and history and economics, why, you can start to make a cartwheel out of the appropriate wood, or spend 50 years learning to begin to learn to beat your adversary at fencing. After that, you can start again on mathematics until it is time to learn the plough. Apart from all these things, said the wart, what do you suggest for me just now? Let me see, said the magician, considering. We have had a short 6 years of this, and in that time I think I am right in saying that you have been many kinds of animal, vegetable, mineral, etc., many things in earth, air, fire, and water. I don't know much, said the wart, about the animals and earth. Then you had better meet my friend, the badger. I have never met a badger. Good, said Merlin, except for Archimedes, Merlin's owl. He is the most learned creature I know. You will like him. By the way, added the magician, stopping in the middle of his spell, there is one thing I ought to tell you. This is the last time I shall be able to turn you into anything. All the magic for that sort of thing has been used up, and this will be the end of your education. When Kay has been knighted, my labors will be over. You will have to go away then, to be his squire in the wide world, and I shall go elsewhere. Do you think you have learned anything? I have learned and been happy. That's right then, said Merlin. Try to remember what you have learned. So in a way, all of the using magic to turn Wart or Arthur into different animals and see the world from different perspectives, looking at tiny things like atoms and large things like the land from above. In a way, it's as if Arthur's childhood had been spent in free imagination, and he could learn from that. And truly, we never stop learning things, whether it be lofty, as Merlin said, literature, mathematics, or practical, like plowing fields or making cartwheels. No matter what it is, no matter how small or how great, we can always learn from this world around us, and that should be an inspiration, because no one can ever take that away, what we have in our mind and our spirit, what we have gleaned from the world, and how we put it in our hearts. So to stay curious about the world around us, about everything we see and read and do, about everyone we meet, is to ask questions, and that is to learn. this line by Robert Louis Stevenson. The world is so full of a number of things. I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. Now let's to our letter. I'm going to use hard surface. And I'll show you this paper. Now if you can see the watermark, there's a watermark there that says Amalfi. It's very soft, beautiful paper, and it feels so flexible. It's made from cotton pulp and has little water edges. There is our paper. We'll do some writing. This one is also cotton pulp, and it's been creased in the middle to fit in the envelope. So we'll start writing here. I better get one of my kitchen roll pieces just for ink blotting, and also a piece of blotting paper, also heavily used. I love the lid sounds. Do you like lid sounds? So we'll start. Give you some pen sounds. a nice sound too. And it looks as if I've got something stuck in it. Now it's the clicking of the nib in the pen. So not the nicest, but we'll push on, shall we? Alright. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. Shorten Merlin's speech just a little bit, but we'll keep the general gist. say that this nib is not the best one for the cotton paper. It's very hard steel nib and it tends to scratch the paper. So on certain strokes you can feel how it has scratched the paper, and going lightly tends to avoid that. It's not always possible, and end up with bits of cotton stuck in the nib and getting things like this. But I think it will serve its purpose. Let's read what we have. The best thing for being sad, replied Merlin, is to learn something. That is the only thing that never fails. You may grow old, you may lie awake at night, you may miss your only love, you may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics. Know your honor trampled in the sewer of baser minds. There is only one thing for it then, to learn. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never be tortured by fear or distrust, never dream of regretting. Look at what a lot of things there are to learn. So some nice words of encouragement and inspiration, reminiscent, I think, of Rudyard Kipling's poem If. Rather, Rudyard Kipling might be reminiscent of T.H. White, since he came later. But the idea is there. What you put inside is what will age with you. It will stand the test of time. No one can destroy it. It's your treasure. So no matter how bad someone feels, if they're stagnant, if they're burned out, if they're having a hard time emotionally, mental organization, mental exhaustion, motivation, this is always a good key to remember. Learn something new, and for that mnemonic I've tied a little ribbon around a key. You can hear the metal key on the glass ink bottle. I think I'll put that in. Also, I think I'll put in a compass. To remind of keeping your heading, stay in the course, don't give up. And last but not least, something for the spirit, something to transcend the world for a small space in time. Tea. This one is from the wonderful tea house in France called Damin Frère. It is an herbal tea, same time, you are relaxing and focusing your mind with tea. You could experience some uplifting and good energy from the mint and lime. So let's package this up. I think we should decorate the envelope a little bit. So it's very soft, fine paper. Let's line it with some Italian ink marbled paper. Look at all the pretty colors. Marbling is done by putting ink on the surface of water and then picking it up with some paper, and all kinds of beautiful designs come from that. Look at all of the beautiful ink marbling and splotches. Beautiful colors. This is done with pins through the ink. Make pins. And this is done by dropping ink splotches on colors. Get all kinds of beautiful patterns. Look at that. Reminds you of snow or cherry blossoms, or maybe fog. I like this one. This one's particularly nice. How will that look as an envelope lining? That's a good one. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this one's beautiful as well. Oh, and look at the lines there, like giant feathery swirls. And this one almost like leather, like you see in old book covers. On the frontispiece. I think let's use this one. This one. There we are. Now let's take the envelope and we'll make an outline of the envelope. With a pencil. just see there. Now, find out how much to cut. There's our envelope liner and our letter. Keep it straight. And fold it over. There we go. I'll use this hard piece of wood. And there we are. So a nice envelope for our tea, our compass, and our key. Let's put them in a nice little box. That is a lovely sound. What a beautiful piece of very fine tissue. I think we'll put this in the box as a liner. is grey. Organza with satin edges. It's a creamy ivory. A very green, yellow-green organza. And a beautiful, bright olive. Satin ribbon. What looks nice on this box? What color do you think we should use for motivation and inspiration? Not the grey this time, even though the color is almost a silvery blue and it reminds me of storms. Fog and natural beauty. Not quite convinced that the ivory will work. Let's look at the green tones. So we have a very bright yellow-green and a bright olive satin. I'm going to go with the satin because I think that organza is probably too fine for this dark box. Beautiful box of inspiration and encouragement. Do you know someone who needs a little encouragement, a kind word, some understanding, a little motivation? Maybe you need messages. Well, don't forget, you're always welcome in the study. Thank you for helping me today to put together this little box. I hope you found it relaxing and a little inspiring as well. Never stop learning. Never stop looking. Be good to yourself. Be kind to others.